Penny, it's been a while. Are you doing all right? What, Anna? Huh? What kind of reaction is that to me? Shouldn't you be a bit more happy to hear from an old friend of yours? Well, you should understand why I'd be reacting to you like that, but since you don't, that must mean you don't remember all that you did around me back in the day. What are you talking about? Ugh. Do you have a reason for talking to me again? I would really like you to hurry this up and tell me what you want. Oh, that's right. Well then, let me get right to it. Actually, I'm pregnant with your husband's baby. What? My husband's baby? Wait, who are you talking about? Oh, come on now. I'm talking about your company president husband, Penny. Jack. What? Jack? That's right. In other words, I got a very good taste of your husband these past few weeks, and now I am carrying our baby. Hold on a second. Anna, didn't you get married just last year or something? You were going all over bragging about how you'd be getting married to an elite from a very powerful company based in New York City, right? Whatever happened to him? Oh, you're talking about that? He and I broke up. Well, I should probably say divorced, but we weren't together all too long, so it just felt like a breakup. What? Why? Why did you divorce him after all that bragging? Oh, you don't know the reason behind it? The reason for that was because I started to go out with Jack. What? I didn't want for my last man to start throwing a fit about how I'd be cheating on him, because then he'd want something like a settlement from me. So I gave him some fake reason and then told him I was leaving. And right after that was when I got into bed with Jack. Well, I suppose that this time I'll have to pay you some kind of settlement, but that's where Jack will step in and help pay it off for me. But anyway, I just wanted to tell you that I am carrying his baby. I knew it would be something like this. How many people has it been now, Anna? How many people has what been? I'm talking about how many people's partners have you stolen now. I happen to know around 10 people already that you've done that to. How many more men are you going to steal from different women before you're done with that crap? Do you have any idea how many women you've already gone and hurt? And this time is the worst yet. You're talking about how you didn't even really steal him, but slept with him and got pregnant while he's still married. You pull yourself together and stop being such a whore. Hold on, it's not my fault that I just so happen to be a very powerful woman. Huh? If you guys all don't want to be losing your boyfriends or husbands to me, then you have to become an even stronger woman than I am. That's all there is to it. What the hell? I have no clue how you're able to think of yourself that way. Oh my, oh my. So is this what happens when someone's about to be thrown away? I guess Jack has a good reason to push you aside now and why he's decided to impregnate me. What the hell are you trying to do, Anna? You married your last husband because of his money, but then you got that divorce to come after Jack? I honestly can't even imagine what your end goal is or if there's even one to begin with. There isn't one, to be honest with you. The reason I stole Jack from you is because I liked him and wanted his child. I only ever go out of my way to steal a man from someone else once I've started to like them. Well, if you want a word that describes it, let's call it my love instinct. Well, how about instead of listening to whatever love instincts you have going on there, you start to think about the ethics of what you're doing? Now, since I've gone and proved to you that I've stolen your husband, would you please take your sorry butt and move out of that gorgeous mansion for me? What? Oh, I can't believe it's already happening. I never thought that I'd be able to get myself a man that would offer me such a wonderful mansion to go live in. This is like a dream come true. Oh, and don't forget to divorce him when you get the chance. I don't care how much of a sore loser you want to be. Get that divorce so that you're not hampering my marriage to him. Penny, thank you so much for getting that divorce for me. But of course, it was Jack that went and did all the paperwork regarding the divorce, so we both just had to wait around forever while you took your time signing everything. But tell me now, why? Why haven't you left that huge mansion just yet? Actually, I was just told by Jack today as he came rushing into my apartment that he has been kicked out of that mansion by you after the divorce. Could you hurry it up and leave that place already? My belly is only going to get larger and larger as every hour passes by, and I'd really like to spend the last bit of my pregnancy relaxing in that massive house. Oh, so the divorce has happened now? So you've gone and handed in your marriage papers at the courthouse, right? Well, that's great to hear. Huh? Congratulations. What are you talking about? If all you're going to do is just sit there sending me messages that make zero sense, then how about you use your time doing something productive like leaving that mansion for us? I am the one that's Jack's wife now, and that means I'm one of the owners of that house. Oh? So you still haven't come around to understanding the situation you're in? What situation are you going on about? This mansion happens to be my house. What? Which means that this house is under my name. Huh? And before me, this place was once my mom's grandparents' house, which was handed down to me over time. When I was able to inherit the family company, I was also given this house. What? Also, Jack is not my husband. He's my cousin. Your cousin? Hold on a second. But I've been inside that mansion there before. Jack brought me along with him into that place, and there he and I made love to one another. A few times we've done that now, actually. And about that, the only reason he's always brought you here is because he's been living with me. Living with you? And as for Jack's actual wife, she's out of the state right now for a while as part of a work transfer she was placed on. So while she's been out of the state and away from here, Jack has been using up all of his savings going out on dates with you while cheating on his wife. And, well, he used up too much of his savings and was no longer able to pay rent, which led to him moving in with me. What? And he'd been here ever since, freeloading off me. I mean, he is my cousin, so I wasn't just going to kick him out and make him homeless. That's why I put him in a room on the other side of this huge house. That's why you've been coming into my house and having an affair with him. So, the reason he and I have always been going into the house from one of the back doors is because I happen to be really, really good friends with Jack's wife, so he was trying his very best to keep his cheating a secret from me. Hence, the back door was always your entrance, right? But once I found out from you what was going on, I made sure to prepare things to have him kicked out of here. Honestly, I am sick to my stomach just thinking about how he'd been bringing you into my house to have sex. I know this is a bit overboard, but I am hiring some pro cleaners to come in and clean out that whole room for me now. Hold on. In other words, this means I won't be able to live in that massive house? That's what this means. And as a side note, after what's happened here, everyone in my family is cutting ties to Jack. So he will no longer be allowed back into my house or anyone else in the family's house for that matter. We can't go to anyone's house now? No way. It was my dream to move into a mansion like that and live out my life there. And that's why I made him get me pregnant. Well, that's a bit... Well, I really shouldn't even say anything about that because I don't know what to say, so no comment from me. Hey, please, do you think you can allow me to live in that mansion with you? Why would I allow that? Because I've just become your cousin's new wife, right? You'll help one of your own family members out, right? Like you did for Jack when he was in need. I told you already that the whole family has cut ties to Jack now. But I'm pregnant right now. Right now is the most important time for me to be taking care of my body and this baby. So please, I am asking you to let me come over to that house and live with you. Well, whether I was going to allow something like that or not, pretty soon here I'll be out of this mansion myself. Huh? But that place is under your name still while you're gone, right? Why can't I come live there while you're gone? Because someone else is buying this property off of me. What? You're selling the place? Yep. Why would you do something like that? Well, I started to want to sell this place after I realized that my freeloading cousin was bringing in another woman to have sex with pretty often, even though he already had a wife. Back when my grandparents were still alive, they were living here as well, and they had a lot of servers and house cleaners that would keep this place clean and comfy for us. However, now it's just me here and, on occasion, my parents. So that's another reason we're wanting to move out. The place is way too big for just the three of us, and we can never get around to cleaning everything. So we're selling the house. I have already found myself the next house I'm moving into, and my parents will move in with me. The place isn't all too big, nor all too small. It's the perfect size for the three of us, and we won't have to worry about so many rooms anymore. I'm going to steal your husband then. Good luck with that. I don't even care if he has a lot of money or not. The fact that you've gone and ruined all my plans, I'm going to make you pay for. And I'll do that by taking your husband from you and making him mine. And considering how nice of a body I have, that'll be so frickin' easy for me. Well, you'd better be ready for the day he tells you he doesn't love you anymore. And like I was saying, good luck with that, because I don't have a husband yet. What? I'm still single. I have a fiancé, though, I'll tell you that much. Then I'm going to steal that fiancé of yours from you. No, I don't think you will. We won't know unless I've tried. You don't even have to try, though, to know the answer to that. He's with me right now looking at my phone as we have this little conversation. Huh? He already knows the true kind of person that you are. And right now he's been sitting next to me going on and on about how impossible it would be for such a toxic and shallow whore like you to steal him from me. So there you go. Huh? Also, I don't think you're in the position to be coming after me now. Why not? You just got married to Jack, right? And you also have a baby with him coming soon. There is also the thing about how Jack has around $30,000 worth of debt right now. $30,000 of debt? I'm not sure how he got into that kind of debt, but it started to come up after he began to cheat on his wife with you. What? No freaking way. All of those things he bought for me on our dates, he did so with borrowed money? You'll both also be responsible for paying a settlement to his ex-wife. Huh? He still hasn't paid her any of that? You think he can pay that off when he's already $30,000 worth of debt? For crying out loud! From what I've heard, the best way of getting that settlement paid off is to have them start taking money from your guys' income each month. So from now on, you both are going to have to try really hard not to spend any money and to work as often as you can. So that settlement, we have to actually pay that? While also paying off the debt that Jack is already in? That's right. There's also the money he'll have to give back to his ex-wife for using some of her income to cheat on her while she was out of state. That too? Well, yeah. You thought she'd let him get away with something like that too? Not a chance. That's why you'll have to start helping pay that back as well. No way. What's going on here? Jack was supposed to become my rich company president husband. Somehow, after everything that happened, Jack decided to go ahead with a plan that he had kept to himself. He didn't tell Anna about it at all. He had been making arrangements to join a new company, and the catch was that the job required him to live on site. As a result, the two of them ended up leaving town and moving away together. It wasn't a decision made out of excitement or hope, but one that felt like a forced step in their complicated lives. Anna's parents, on the other hand, were at their breaking point. When they found out what Anna had done this time, they just couldn't take it anymore. They told her they were sorry, but their patience had run out, and they severed all ties with her. The emotional weight of that moment hit Anna hard. She knew she was now completely cut off from her family, and there was no turning back. All she had left was Jack, and they were moving forward, for better or for worse. Given the situation, Anna had no choice but to stay with Jack, following him to his new life. It was the only option left. The prospect of making a fresh start with Jack, despite the mess they were in, seemed to be her only way forward. But even so, it wasn't easy. The decision weighed heavily on her, and she couldn't help but feel the pressure of everything mounting around her. After having her baby, Anna managed to get out of the house a little bit and took up a job to help with the overwhelming debt. For a brief moment, she thought she was getting a grip on things. She worked hard trying to balance motherhood and financial responsibilities, but the strain was too much. Just a few weeks later, she made the painful decision to put her baby up for adoption. In a way, it was the best choice for the baby. She knew that neither she nor Jack were in a position to give the child the life they deserved. Their financial situation was still a nightmare, and their relationship wasn't much better. They had fallen into this trap, and Anna couldn't deny that things were spiraling out of control. The cheating, the lies, the debt, it had all come to a head, and now they had to live with the consequences. It was a hard-to-face reality, but Anna and Jack were the ones who had created this mess, and they were now stuck with it. There was no escaping the truth. They had to make things work, or their world would collapse entirely. They couldn't keep running from their problems forever. Their lives were a tangled web of mistakes, and now it was time to figure out how to untangle it, even if it seemed impossible. They couldn't go back and fix everything they had broken, but they had to try and move forward, somehow. As for me, I've been spending more time relaxing with my parents at the new house we had just gotten. I had taken over managing the family company, which was a responsibility I had grown into with time. It felt good to be in control of something, to take charge of my life and move forward. Meanwhile, my fiancé was preparing to move in with us soon. It felt like everything was finally falling into place. When he arrived, the first thing we were going to do was submit our marriage papers. It wasn't going to be anything extravagant, no huge wedding or elaborate celebrations. We wanted to keep things low-key, as private as possible. The last thing we wanted was to draw attention to ourselves, especially given everything that had been happening with Anna. I couldn't help but laugh a little at the thought. The idea that Anna might hear about us getting married and somehow try to come back into the picture, coming after my fiancé, seemed almost too ridiculous to entertain. But then again, nothing about her actions had seemed reasonable lately. I didn't put it past her to try something desperate, but that didn't matter now. My fiancé and I were moving forward, and we weren't going to let anyone from the past interfere with that. Things were falling into place for me, but I couldn't ignore the mess that Anna and Jack had made of their lives. They had made their choices, and now they were left to deal with the fallout. I just hoped that they could find a way to make it work, even though I wasn't optimistic about it. People don't just get out of these kinds of situations easily. But then again, sometimes life had a way of surprising you. They would either find a way to fix what they had all broken or fall deeper into the mess they had created. Either way, it was no longer my problem. I had my own life to focus on now. I knew I had to continue building my future with my fiancé and the life we were starting together. Anna's decisions were hers to live with, just as mine were mine. We all had our paths, and I had chosen mine carefully. There was a part of me that felt bad for Anna, but it quickly faded. She had put herself in this situation, and she would have to live with it. There were only so many chances you could give someone before they had to take responsibility for their actions. While I couldn't change her past, I could focus on creating a future that I was proud of. The lessons I'd learned from my own experiences were ones I'd intended to carry with me, and they helped shape the life I was building with my fiancé. I couldn't let the mistakes of others hold me back. My life was moving forward, and I intended to keep it that way. Thank you for watching and listening. We hope you enjoyed the video. Don't forget to like this video and subscribe. Also, feel free to leave a comment about what you thought of the story. We look forward to seeing you at the next story.
Is this Wade's phone number I'm currently speaking to? Yes, this is Wade. Who's asking? This is Cliff. I borrowed Sam's phone. I'm the one who's been dating Sam for a while now. I see. This is a picture of Sam and me together. It's proof that we've been in a relationship. When was this photo taken? It was taken last month during a trip we went on. Sam told me she was going away on a trip with her old school friends, and she mentioned that she'd be staying overnight at this hotel. So we decided to further proceed with the relationship we had before. Ah, I see. So, based on what you're saying, you are aware that Sam is my wife? Yes, I am aware. That's actually the reason I'm calling. I wanted to talk to you about something important. What exactly do you want to discuss? To put it bluntly, I would like you to divorce Sam. I see. Well, I'm sure you understand, but if a divorce happens, there will be compensation involved. Of course, I'm referring to the fact that I'll be making claims for damages against both you and Sam. Yes, I understand that. I've thought about it, and I'm ready for that. That's why I'm reaching out to discuss things with you. Also, Sam and I have a 3-year-old son. What's your position on that? I would actually prefer if you could take care of him. If that's the case, I will have to request child support from Sam. Yes, I understand. And as her future husband, I will take full responsibility for providing for him. I'll make sure to pay the child support. I understand your point, but just to confirm, does Sam know anything about this situation? No, actually, Sam has no idea about any of this yet. Her birthday is coming up next month, right? Yes, that's correct. Well, here's what I'm hoping for. I would like to finalize the divorce before her birthday so that once she's officially free, I can propose to her as a surprise. I've been waiting for the right moment, and this would be perfect. A surprise proposal, huh? Do you understand my intentions? I'm serious about this. I understand your intentions, and I see where you're coming from. But before I make any decisions about a divorce, I need to discuss this with Sam. So I can't give you a final answer right away. I'll need time to talk to her and then get back to you with a proper response. I see. Well, I'll be waiting for your reply. I really hope you'll consider everything carefully. I understand that you're serious about this. However, as I mentioned, I need to speak with Sam first. This isn't something I can decide on my own. That's fair, of course. I completely understand. But let me tell you something. This isn't just some casual thing for me. Sam and I have been together for a while now, and we've built something important. I want to make her my wife, and I want to be with her for the rest of my life. I appreciate that you're being honest with me about your intentions, But I still need to talk things over with Sam. I can't make any decisions without consulting her first. I understand that, and I'll respect that. But I'll say this, I'm prepared for whatever comes next. I'm ready to support Sam in every way I can. And if that means being her husband, then I'll gladly step up and take on that responsibility. I'm sure you will, but I also have responsibilities. As Sam's husband, I've taken on responsibilities that I don't plan to give up easily. I have a family to protect, and I'm gonna make sure that no one gets hurt in this process. I understand that, I really do. But I want you to know that my intentions are pure. I want to be with Sam, and I'm willing to do whatever it takes to make that happen. Well, we'll have to wait and see how things unfold. Again, I will talk to Sam, and then I'll let you know where we stand. Thank you for understanding. I hope that you will seriously think about what I've said and take it into consideration. I will. I'll make sure to discuss it thoroughly with Sam. Please, be patient, and we'll figure things out. Thank you for your time. I'm looking forward to hearing from you soon. Sam, where are you right now?
I just got off work and I'm on the train home. Well, that's usually the case, but what's with that tone?
I got a message from a man named Cliff earlier today.
Cliff?
He says he's your affair partner? So what's going to happen?
Well,
He showed me a photo from last month's trip as proof.
he went that far?
I was planning to wait and decide after hearing your side of things, but based on your reaction, I guess I can assume that what Cliff says is true?
Yes, I'm sorry, but that trip was with my friends from school. It was really just a friend's trip.
I see. And?
Cliff is a junior of mine, and he was traveling alone. It just so happened that we stayed at the same hotel. We hit it off and spent a lot of time chatting in his room about old memories, and the atmosphere just took over. I admit it. I'm sorry. I understand it's not about the number of times, but I want you to know that it was just that one time with Cliff. Since then, he's been messaging me a lot, but I haven't replied or met him.
I see.
I've been thinking for the past month about whether or not I should be honest with you. But now that it's come to this, I know I have to accept that divorce might be the only outcome. I'm really sorry.
Well, I understand now. We'll talk face to face when we meet.
Yes, I'm sorry.
But you know, there's something that doesn't quite add up between your story and Cliff's.
What doesn't add up?
Cliff was all ready to marry you.
What?
He said he wants to propose to you on your birthday next month, but he wants me to divorce you before that.
What is that? I don't even know how to respond. I didn't even have that intention, and if I could go back, I regret it all. I even talked to Cliff about it, but guess he didn't understand.
Anyway, we'll talk tonight. I'll show you the messages from him then. Divorce is almost certain for me, but I think there's something wrong with how Cliff and I are not on the same page.
Yes, I'm really sorry for all the trouble I've caused.
Wade, what do you mean by this? Cliff, it's a pleasure to speak with you. I had Sam contact you, and this is the situation. We are proceeding with the divorce, but Sam has absolutely no intention of marrying you. Why did you have to talk about the surprise? What? The surprise proposal. It was supposed to be a surprise. You can't just bring up the divorce without mentioning me at all. Cliff, are you aware of your position right now? Of course! That's why I'm offering to pay both the alimony and the child support for your son. I'm fully taking responsibility for all of that. However, the issue is that Sam, the person involved, says she considers the whole situation a mistake. She wants to make amends to both me and our son, so she's willing to take care of the alimony and child support herself. She plans to pay from her own money. Understood, then let's do this. What are you suggesting? I'll double the alimony that we initially discussed. How does $600 sound? What? It feels a bit strange to be offering money as compensation for Sam, but there's no choice, right? Wait, hold on. $600? Are you serious? Is that not enough? Fine, let's raise it to $800. Hold on a second. Oh, and we shouldn't forget the child support. So the total amount for both alimony and child support will be $900. Wait. I'm offering such a generous amount that I'm sure Sam will accept it without hesitation. Cliff, let me explain something. Yes? Have you done any research on the typical amounts for alimony and child support? Typical amount? I'm not a professional, so I won't specify an exact amount, but since it was a one-time affair, it will likely be far less than a long-term affair. However, I can tell you that you should expect the number to be 1 digit higher than what you're anticipating. What? So, 900? No, it's the opposite. I've heard that the typical amount could be in the hundreds of thousands of dollars. What? In fact, if it had been a long-term affair, the total could even reach several $100,000. That's completely absurd! As for child support, the typical range seems to be between $200 and $400 per month. That much? Well, Sam has no intention of marrying you, and she plans to take care of the payments herself. You only need to worry about paying the alimony. There's no way that's possible! Huh? It's ridiculous to be asked for such a huge sum of money when it's just a matter of two people who love each other and are meant to be together. You're trying to take advantage of me, aren't you? Or is this some sort of revenge for me taking Sam away from you? Is that really how you see it? Well, isn't it obvious? Sam and I confirmed our love for each other that night. We were meant to be together. She can't possibly mean what she's saying about not wanting to marry me. I'm sure you're forcing her to say that. Please, let Sam go and set her free from this situation. And as for alimony and child support, I'll settle for a total of $500. I keep telling you, the numbers are completely off. You're trying to punish me by demanding such an unreasonable amount of money. Fine, this is my final offer. This is impossible. We're not getting anywhere with this conversation. Continuing to text about this will just waste time. I'm hiring a lawyer. What? For now, please stop contacting me or Sam directly. Sam has already blocked you, I believe. What? That can't be right. Please, let me speak to Sam. I'm sorry, but from now on, I request that you refrain from contacting either me or Sam. I've confirmed your current address through Sam's friends, so I believe a lawyer will be coming to visit you soon. I won't accept this! I finally got together with Sam! Meeting again at that hotel was definitely fate! It was a sign that we were meant to be together! I've loved Sam since we were in school, and now we're finally together! Don't you dare get in the way of our love! After the divorce from Sam, I was granted custody of our son. The decision wasn't made lightly, and there were a lot of emotional and legal battles we had to face. Sam and I had been through a lot together, and the road to separation wasn't as clear-cut as I had initially hoped. But in the end, after everything settled, I was the one who ended up with custody of our child. Sam had shown a lot of regret for her actions during the marriage, and that was something I didn't take lightly. It wasn't easy, but I decided to be understanding. Sam, realizing the seriousness of her situation and the consequences of her actions, agreed to reduce the alimony she would owe me. This was a significant step because, at one point, I thought the amount she would be required to pay would be much higher. However, we came to an agreement that she would make payments for child support in installments, which allowed us both some breathing room financially. We also decided not to go through with a division of property, meaning that I wouldn't be entitled to a share of her assets. In a way, this was a relief because it simplified the process, though I would be lying if I said it wasn't a little disappointing. The financial arrangements had been difficult to settle, but it was the emotional aftermath of the divorce and dealing with Cliff that took the longest time to sort out. Cliff, who is a key part of our separation, became a significant source of stress and conflict. From what I could gather, he seemed to believe that Sam's reluctance to marry him was somehow tied to our son and me. He thought that the bond I shared with my son was preventing Sam from being able to fully commit to him. This idea came out of nowhere, but it became a huge issue for all of us. Cliff, for reasons I still don't fully understand, became increasingly erratic in his behavior as time went on. There were several incidents where Cliff's behavior escalated. At one point, he made an attempt to abduct our son. I couldn't believe what was happening. I never thought something like that would happen to us. He tried to take my son, and it was all too much. That was when I realized that things had gone too far, and I had to take action to protect both myself and my child. Cliff didn't stop there, though. There were other disturbing incidents, such as me being attacked one night while walking alone. I was injured, though not severely, but the fear and trauma I experienced from those events stayed with me long after the physical wounds had healed. These incidents were too much to handle, and I knew I had to protect my son and myself. I filed a report with the police detailing everything that had happened. I felt a strange sense of relief when the authorities took the situation seriously and did what they could to ensure that Cliff was taken away and placed where he couldn't hurt us anymore. It wasn't an easy process, and it took a long time before I felt safe again, but I knew I had done what I needed to do to safeguard my family. I couldn't allow Cliff's actions to dictate my life or my son's future. During this time, I had to make some decisions that would affect the rest of our lives. I couldn't stay in the same place with all that had happened, so I packed up and moved away with my son. We moved into my parents' house, a place I had not lived in for many years. It wasn't ideal, but it felt like the safest place to be at the time. I didn't want to risk staying in a place that felt unsafe, not with everything that had occurred. My parents were incredibly supportive, and having them around gave me the strength I needed to move forward. They helped me and my son settle in, and it felt comforting to know that we were surrounded by people who cared about us. Sam, for her part, also decided to move out of the home where she had been living. She went back to her parents' house, which wasn't a decision I expected her to make, but it was probably for the best. I knew she needed to get some space and sort things out in her own way. The situation was difficult for everyone involved, and we all needed time and space to heal. It wasn't just about me and Sam anymore. It was about our son and what was best for him. I couldn't let the events that had happened affect his life any more than they already had. Now, our relationship with Sam is limited to being co-parents. We only contact each other when necessary, and it's all about our son. That's all that matters. We don't talk much beyond the essential things like arranging schedules and ensuring that our son's needs are being met. While I wish things had turned out differently, I know that this is the best course of action for everyone involved. We've both had to make sacrifices, but at least now we're both focused on what's most important. As for Cliff, things have been quiet for a while. I'm not sure what happened with him after everything ended, but I know that I did what I could to keep him away from my family. His parents, who were probably just as shocked by his actions as I was, reached out through their lawyer to apologize for the way things unfolded. It wasn't much, but it was something. I was glad to hear from them because it meant that they recognized how wrong their son had been in this entire situation. I never wanted things to get this far, but I knew I had to take a stand for the safety and well-being of my son and myself. Now, As time goes on, things are starting to feel a bit more normal. The fear and anxiety that haunted me during those dark times are slowly starting to fade. I can finally breathe again, and for the first time in a long while, I'm starting to feel like I have control over my life. It's been a long and difficult journey, but I know I made the right choices. I'm just focusing on my son, my family, and rebuilding our lives together. I have no idea what the future holds, but I know that we're stronger now, and I'm ready to face whatever comes next. Looking back, I realize how much I've learned through everything that's happened. It wasn't just about surviving, it was about finding the strength to move forward even when it seemed impossible. I don't regret my decisions, and while I still have a lot of healing to do, I know that I've done what was necessary to protect my son and give him the life he deserves. Peace is slowly returning to our lives, and I'm hopeful that the worst is behind us. Thank you for watching and listening. We hope you enjoyed the video. Don't forget to like this video and subscribe. Also, feel free to leave a comment about what you thought of the story. We look forward to seeing you at the next story.
Hey, Alexis, where are you going? Why did you leave before me? I was planning to have you cover my part of the bill. Seriously, come back here right now. Excuse me, what are you even talking about? We didn't come to this cafe together, remember? I was already here, minding my own business when you walked in and sat down. It's not like I promised to treat you or anything, so why should I be responsible for paying your bill? Oh, don't act like that. What's your problem? I came up to you at the cafe, didn't I? I even said hi to you. Given the circumstances, it's obvious that you should treat me. Do you even realize what kind of position you're in right now? You're in no position to refuse, Alexis. What are you talking about? What position? Oh, wow. Is that really the attitude you want to take? What do you think your husband would say if he knew you were here today, having tea with that man? And what about the moms from your social circle? What would they think if they found out? Why would it matter to anyone? Seriously, go ahead and tell them if you want. It doesn't bother me. Don't play dumb with me. I've already thought about this carefully. Just in case some people might not believe me if I told them, I made sure to take a few pictures. That's right, I've got photographic proof. So no matter what excuses you try to come up with, there's no way you can deny this now. Get it? I don't think you understand. I haven't done anything that would require me to deny or hide. Even if you try to spread rumors about me, it won't hurt me in the slightest. I'm not worried about it at all. Wait, what? Are you serious right now? Wow, to hear you say that. Wait a minute, could it be? Oh, I see how it is now. What are you going on about? So that's what's going on. You're saying it doesn't even matter if people find out about your affair, huh? You've reached the point where even if the truth comes out, it won't make a difference to you. Affair? What are you talking about? I'm not having an affair. Oh, please, you don't have to hide it anymore. The man you were sitting with at the cafe, he had that dashing, slightly older vibe, didn't he? He looked like the kind of guy who could sweep someone off their feet. Listen to me, that man is not my lover, okay? I was meeting with him for work, that's all, nothing more. Oh, sure, work, huh? That's such a typical excuse. You really expect me to buy that? I'm serious. Can you please just listen to what I'm saying for once? You're not even giving me a chance to explain. This isn't a conversation anymore. You're just talking over me at this point. But anyway, let's not dwell on that for too long. Your husband, his family runs a company, doesn't he? And your child is a girl, right? So if I were to marry your husband, that would automatically make my son Russell the heir to their family business, wouldn't it? Holly, what are you even talking about? Oh, it's all starting to make sense now. I should probably start preparing my divorce papers. Wait, hold on. What? Where is this coming from? Oh, I haven't mentioned this before, have I? Actually, my marriage has been on shaky ground for a while now. Divorce has come up as a possibility, but I've been hesitant to move forward because of financial concerns. But now this is my golden opportunity. If I marry your husband, not only will I have financial stability, but I'll also be stepping up in life. It's like hitting the jackpot. Holly, seriously, stop and listen to me. Oh, and about the cafe bill, don't worry about it. I'll pay for it myself. Holly, listen. The person I was having tea with earlier isn't some secret lover. He's the owner of that cafe. I work as a web designer and he hired me to redesign the cafe's website. That's why we were meeting, to discuss the project. As for why we were sitting in the customer area, there's a very practical reason for that. I wanted to experience the cafe's atmosphere firsthand so I could incorporate it into the website design. That's all there is to it. Nothing personal, nothing inappropriate. And let me just say this, Holly. Even if, hypothetically speaking, I were to get divorced, which, let me be clear, I am not planning to, what makes you think you'd automatically become my husband's new wife? Do you really think relationships work like that? You're skipping over so many steps here, falling in love, building trust, forming a connection. It's not some automatic process. Holly, are you even listening? Hello? Why aren't you answering? You haven't even opened my messages yet. I really hope you're not doing something impulsive. Holly, please, just think things through, okay? Oh my, I was wondering why there were so many missed calls. Oh, so that's what this is about. Holly, finally, you've read the messages. So the man I thought was your affair partner turns out to be the cafe owner. Got it. It looks like I jumped to conclusions. My mistake. But, well, that's just a minor detail now, isn't it? It's not a minor detail at all. Even if you and your husband are discussing divorce, filing the divorce papers just because you assume you'll end up marrying someone you're not even in a relationship with is absurd. It's unthinkable. Honestly, it's a massive nuisance for me, so please stop this nonsense. Oh, about that. You know that process of falling in love thing? Well, I've already taken care of that step. Taken care of it? What are you talking about? Exactly what I said. Your husband has been head over heels for me for ages now. What? It all started last year during the kindergarten sports day. We both fell in love at first sight. Every time we crossed paths during drop-offs or pickups, we'd silently communicate with our eyes. It was like we understood each other on a deeper level. The clincher, though, was during the Christmas party. Even though we were seated far apart, we kept exchanging longing glances. I've been ready and waiting for him to confess to me ever since then. So really, this whole situation couldn't have come at a better time. Thank you, Alexis, for deciding to go through with the divorce. Let me stop you right there and correct something. Huh? Correct what? My husband has told me multiple times. Whenever I feel someone staring at me and turn around, it's always Holly glaring at me. Did I do something wrong? What? The fact that he would say something like that to me proves beyond a shadow of a doubt that he does not and has never had romantic feelings for you. Wait. What? Also, Holly, let's take a moment to really think this through, shall we? The reason you thought Alexis and her husband are getting a divorce was entirely based on your assumption that I was having an affair, wasn't it? But I wasn't having an affair. That means there's no actual reason for my husband and me to get a divorce, isn't that right? Wait, hold on. No way. Oh, but still, meeting one-on-one with the cafe owner is super suspicious. My husband was with me at the cafe, sitting at the next table the whole time. What? The cafe job was actually a referral from my husband. It was my first meeting with the owner, so my husband and I went together. When the web design meeting started, my husband, who doesn't know much about that field, sat at the next table enjoying tea while waiting for me to finish the discussion. This can't be happening. So, Holly, I don't know what's going on between you and your husband that led to talks of divorce, but there is absolutely no chance of me and my husband splitting up, which means you definitely cannot marry my husband. As I said earlier, please don't act rashly, okay? It's already too late. Wait, what? I already submitted the divorce papers earlier. What? Now I'm back to having to pay alimony. I was planning to rely on your husband's income after marrying him, and now everything is ruined. Everything. Ah, so you were the one being asked to pay alimony. Do something! I mean, this is entirely your problem, not mine, right? You're my friend! Holly, let me lay it out for you. You jumped to the conclusion that I was having an affair. You assumed my husband had feelings for you. Then you built on those assumptions, adding layers of misunderstanding and delusion. Finally, you've somehow ended up blaming me for your divorce, saying it's my fault. It's because you did something misleading, like having a business meeting in a cafe. My husband was literally sitting at the next table. There was nothing misleading about it. What? Details don't matter now. Just fix this for me. Listen, do you even realize that you haven't apologized to me even once? Something like that? Yeah, I'm done. I won't be associating with you anymore. Wait, hold on a second. I'm sorry. See, I apologized. Now please respond. Too late. Goodbye. Alexis, answer me. I don't even know what to say anymore. It seems that the primary reason behind Holly's divorce from her husband stems from a shocking revelation. Russell's father isn't actually the man everyone assumed him to be. Instead, it turns out he's a completely different person. This revelation caused a massive upheaval in their relationship, shaking the foundation of their marriage. What makes matters even more complicated is that the identity of Russell's real biological father remains completely unknown. No one has been able to determine who he is, and it seems unlikely that this mystery will ever be solved. The uncertainty and unresolved nature of this issue added layers of tension and mistrust to an already fragile relationship. For the longest time, Holly was unwilling to proceed with the divorce. Despite the truth coming to light and the deep rift it caused between her and her husband, she clung tightly to the marriage. Perhaps it was a desperate attempt to maintain some semblance of stability or to avoid the social stigma of being a divorced woman. Whatever her reasons, she refused to let go. Her husband, on the other hand, had reached his breaking point. The revelation had been too much for him to handle, and the idea of staying in a marriage built on lies was unbearable. However, even with his resolve to end things, the process of divorce proved to be a long and grueling ordeal. Holly's refusal to cooperate dragged things out unnecessarily, creating a tense and emotionally draining situation for both parties. At some point, Holly's husband, exhausted and resigned, decided that he had no choice but to accept the fallout of this situation, even if it meant enduring significant emotional and financial strain. He had described it as bracing himself for a dramatic downturn in his life, fully prepared to face the hardships that would come with leaving the marriage. Just when he had steeled himself for this challenging journey, an unexpected incident occurred that seemed to simplify everything. The details of this incident remain unclear, but whatever it was, it acted as a catalyst for the divorce to be finalized swiftly. What had once seemed like an insurmountable hurdle suddenly became a relatively smooth and straightforward process. In a bizarre twist, Holly's now ex-husband actually went out of his way to express gratitude for the situation. He reached out to the person indirectly involved in the incident and said something along the lines of, "I imagine this must have been a bother for you, but it truly helped me out." The absurdity of this statement is hard to overstate. Imagine being in a situation so convoluted that the person escaping a deeply troubled marriage feels compelled to thank someone for their indirect role in resolving the mess. It's a testament to just how surreal and tangled the entire ordeal has become. After the divorce was officially finalized, one might have expected Holly to accept the outcome and move on with her life. However, that was far from the case. In the aftermath of their separation, Holly made numerous attempts to reconcile with her ex-husband. She pleaded with him, made emotional appeals, and tried to convince him to give their relationship another chance. It was clear that she wasn't ready to let go of the life they had built together, no matter how flawed or fractured it had been. Despite her efforts, her ex-husband remained resolute. He had made up his mind to move forward, and he was determined not to be drawn back into the chaos that their marriage had become. In an effort to create a clean break, Holly's ex-husband took a job transfer to a different city. The new position required him to relocate, which he saw as an opportunity to distance himself from Holly and the painful memories of their marriage. He moved back to his hometown, cutting off direct contact with her entirely. Holly was left with no address or phone number to reach him, making it impossible for her to continue her attempts at reconciliation. In essence, he disappeared from her life completely, leaving her to pick up the pieces on her own. Now, all communication between Holly and her ex-husband is conducted through lawyers. These interactions are focused primarily on matters related to alimony and other financial settlements that arose from their divorce. The negotiations have been drawn out and contentious, with both sides struggling to reach an agreement that satisfies their respective needs and obligations. It's a complicated and emotionally charged process, further exacerbated by the lingering resentment and unresolved issues between them. Not too long ago, I happened to see Holly in passing. The sight of her was striking. She looked completely worn out, as if the weight of everything she had been through had taken a severe toll on her. Her once vibrant and confident demeanor was nowhere to be seen. Instead, she appeared gaunt and frail, her face pale and her cheeks hollow. Dark circles under her eyes hinted at sleepless nights, and her overall appearance suggested that she had been working herself to the brink of exhaustion. Whether it was to cover the expenses that came with the divorce or simply to keep herself afloat in the aftermath of everything that had happened, It was clear that she was struggling. It's difficult to see someone in such a state, especially when you know the person they used to be. Holly was once a woman who exuded energy and self-assurance, someone who seemed capable of handling anything that came her way. To see her reduced to this fragile version of herself is a stark reminder of how quickly life can change and how even the strongest among us can be brought low by unforeseen circumstances. Despite everything, there is a sense of inevitability about what Holly is going through. The choices she made, the secrets she kept, and the way she handled her relationships all played a role in shaping her current situation. While it's natural to feel some measure of pity for her, it's also important to acknowledge that actions have consequences. Life has a way of teaching us lessons, often in the most unforgiving ways possible. Holly's current struggles seem to be one of those lessons playing out in real time, a reminder that the truth has a way of surfacing, no matter how deeply it's buried, and that the decisions we make can have far-reaching effects. As I reflect on everything that's happened, I can't help but wonder what the future holds for Holly. Will she find a way to rebuild her life and regain some sense of stability, or will the weight of her past mistakes continue to drag her down? It's hard to say. For now, all I can do is hope that she finds the strength to move forward and create a better life for herself, one where she can learn from her past and make choices that lead to a more fulfilling and peaceful life. However, the road to recovery for Holly is going to be anything but easy. There's a deep emotional burden she must grapple with, a sense of failure that will likely haunt her for years to come. In her quieter moments, I imagine she must reflect on what went wrong, the missteps that led her down this painful path, and wonder whether things could have been different. Regret is a heavy companion, one that often arrives when damage has already been done, and I suspect Holly will have her fair share of sleepless nights spent reflecting on everything that transpired. In time, Holly may come to terms with her choices. Perhaps she'll find some solace in the understanding that, despite the collapse of her marriage, she is still capable of rebuilding her life. After all, many people emerge from difficult relationships stronger and more resilient. However, she'll need a great deal of support, and there may be moments of solitude where she faces the full weight of what's been lost. It's important that she finds the right people to lean on, those who will offer encouragement and guidance without judgment. The process of healing takes time, but with the right mindset, it is always possible. Thank you for watching and listening. We hope you enjoyed the video. Don't forget to like this video and subscribe. Also, feel free to leave a comment about what you thought of the story. We look forward to seeing you at the next story.
Lisa, are you available right now? I have something I need to tell you.
Oh, Mac? I'm on the train at the moment, so if it's just you texting me, I can reply. What's going on? It's pretty rare for you to contact me at this time of day.
I had to leave work early. Something urgent came up and I didn't have a choice.
What happened? Are you okay?
It's, Hannah. She left the house.
Wait, what? Hannah just left?
While I was at work, I received a message that made me panic. I ended up leaving work earlier than planned. When I got home, there were divorce papers sitting on the table. On top of that, she left a note saying that my parents already understood and supported her decision about the divorce.
What? Are you serious?
Yeah, but obviously that wasn't true. I called my parents right away and they completely denied it. They were shocked and said there's no way they would ever support something like that. So I thought it was time for me to contact you about this.
I see. Well, that makes sense. It would have been strange if they were actually okay with it.
After that, I tried calling Hannah's phone multiple times, but I couldn't get through. She won't answer at all. Since you're at the same company as her, I thought you might have noticed something about her behavior or know what's going on.
Oh, I'm really sorry, Mac. I actually took the afternoon off today, so I wasn't in the office.
I see. Could you try messaging her for me then?
I could, but I'm not exactly close with Hannah, right? We're in completely different departments and we hardly interact even when I'm at work. To be honest, I'm not sure she'd even respond if I reached out.
That's fine. I just need to know anything at all. Even if it's small, her mood, her reaction, anything. Please let me know if you manage to get in touch with her.
All right, I'll give it a try. Hannah, hello. Where are you right now? Oh, Lisa. Did Mac reach out to you? Yes, he told me you left the house and left divorce papers behind. He seemed really upset. What's going on? Why did you do something so drastic all of a sudden? Well, from Mac's perspective, I suppose it might look sudden. But for me, this wasn't something that just happened out of nowhere. To be honest, I've started seeing someone else. What? Are you serious? Yes, I know what you're thinking. I can guess exactly what's going through your mind right now. But let me make one thing perfectly clear. I haven't taken things too far with him. There's nothing physical going on between us yet. I'm very aware of the boundaries I need to respect. Then why? Because I don't want to drag him into something messy. If I were to stay in this marriage while deepening my relationship with him, it would only bring him unnecessary trouble. That's why I've decided to keep things between us purely emotional for now. It's not ideal, but it's the right thing to do under the circumstances. I'm sorry, but I still don't understand. How could you just leave Mac like that? I left a letter for Mac explaining everything. I also asked him to submit the divorce papers by the end of the day. You really think it's that simple? Divorce isn't something you can decide and settle in a single day. I know it's complicated, but I've made up my mind. I'm hoping that Mac will understand eventually. Honestly, I know this will be uncomfortable for you two since we work together. I hope it won't make things awkward between us. If you could continue treating me the same way at work, I'd really appreciate it. Hannah, I think you owe Mac a proper explanation. Don't you think you should sit down and talk to him face to face before making such a life-changing decision? Lisa, I know you're just trying to help, but having a conversation with Mac isn't going to change anything. My decision is final. As far as I'm concerned, when the clock strikes midnight tonight, I'll be single again. And once that happens, I'll be free to truly be with him. Hannah, you can't be serious. Divorce isn't something you can just push through in a single day because you've decided you're done. It's far more complicated than that. Lisa, you're still single. Of course you wouldn't understand the complexities of marriage and what I'm going through. I don't expect you to. Anyway, I really need to get going. He's waiting for me. Hannah, wait, please, just listen for a moment. Mac, I talked to one of our coworkers in her department during work hours to see if they'd seen or heard anything. Apparently, she didn't show up to work today. After that, I sent her a message, and luckily she responded, so we ended up talking.
Really? What did she say? What's going on?
Well, it's a bit complicated. I'll try to explain it, but honestly, it felt like one of those situations where you just think, oh no, this is bad.
What do you mean by that? What did she tell you?
She mentioned that she's seeing someone else.
She said that to you?
Yeah, I'll send you a screenshot of our conversation later so you can see the exact wording, but from what she said, it sounds like things haven't gone too far yet. She told me that she's been holding back because she knows that it would cause a lot of trouble if they crossed any serious lines right now.
I see. So she's trying to rationalize it? Either way, it's still cheating, isn't it?
Exactly. I mean, there's no way around that. It's definitely a betrayal. But there's something that's been bothering me. I can't help but feel like there might be more to this, or maybe less, depending on how you look at it.
What do you mean, more or less?
It's hard to explain. This is just my gut feeling, so please don't take it as absolute, but I'm not entirely convinced that Hannah's actually cheating in the way you're thinking.
What? What do you mean by that?
Okay, so during our conversation, she kept going on about how this other relationship is all about a connection of the heart for now. And honestly, the way she said it struck me as odd. It reminded me of the kind of thing you hear from someone who might be overthinking things or getting caught up in their own imagination.
You mean she's delusional?
Well, maybe that's too strong a word, but think about it. Remember how you once told me that Hannah tends to get carried away with her own assumptions? You said that sometimes she has a hard time distinguishing her own perceptions from reality.
Yeah, I remember mentioning that.
And don't forget the whole misunderstanding with your parents. She thought they were on board with her decision to leave, but when you talked to them, it turns out they had no idea what she was talking about. That was a pretty big leap on her part, don't you think?
You're right. That situation should have been a red flag.
Exactly, and then there's the stuff that happened back when you two got engaged. Didn't she cause some kind of misunderstanding with one of your junior colleagues?
Oh yeah, that was a mess. She thought they were saying something about her behind her back, but it turned out she'd completely misinterpreted the situation. It caused a lot of unnecessary drama.
Right, so this might be another case of her jumping to conclusions or getting swept up in her own ideas. At work, too.
What about at work? Go ahead, you can tell me.
Well, Hannah has this reputation among some of the staff. People have told me that she seems to think she's more attractive or desirable than she really is. It's caused some awkward situations. A couple of coworkers even came to me for advice because they didn't know how to handle her behavior.
I didn't realize it was that bad. I'm sorry she put you in that position.
It's okay, really. Don't worry about me.
Still, it feels like this might be part of a pattern. After the incident with your junior colleague, she apologized and promised she'd learned her lesson. I decided to let it go because I believed her when she said it wouldn't happen again. But I made it very clear that if something like this happened a second time, there wouldn't be any more chances.
Well, that makes sense, and I appreciate you sharing your thoughts. Like I said, this is just my perspective. If it turns out I'm completely wrong, I'm sorry.
No, don't apologize. Honestly, you've given me something to think about. I've been so panicked about everything that I wouldn't have even considered this possibility on my own. What you've said is helping me calm down and think more clearly.
I'm glad to hear that.
By the way, aren't you on a trip with Fred right now?
Oh, yeah, Fred had a business trip earlier this week and it just ended today. After he finished work, we met up here. We're planning on spending the weekend sightseeing together.
I see. I'm sorry for dragging you into this when you're supposed to be relaxing. I completely forgot you were away when I reached out. Fred doesn't seem annoyed by all this, does he?
No, not at all. Don't worry about it. Fred works with us, so he knows how complicated things can get. He's been really understanding about the whole situation. If anything else comes up, don't hesitate to contact me, okay?
Thank you. I really appreciate it, and please tell Fred I said hi.
I will, and Mac, try to stay calm, okay?
I'll do my best. Thanks, Lisa.
Lisa, what's going on? Wait, Hannah? What do you mean, what's going on? You're with my boyfriend? What on earth do you think you're doing? Huh? I'm with my boyfriend, Fred, right now. What's the problem? What are you talking about? Fred is my boyfriend. Huh? I even heard him talking to his boss today. He was confirming that his business trip finishes on Friday, so he plans to meet me at the location and we'll spend the weekend sightseeing together. He got approval from the company to do this, so that's why I'm here. But then I saw you checking into the inn with Fred. Explain this. Wait, hold on. Hannah, are you saying that Fred was your target all along? Target? What are you talking about? Fred isn't the kind of person to cheat. He has no intention of being involved with you in any way. What? Are you saying you are the one he's cheating with? Huh? Well, once today is over, I'll be officially divorced, so I'm willing to overlook this for now. But you'd better return my Fred to me quickly. Look, Hannah, Fred and I have been together for almost 4 years now. We started dating shortly after we both joined the company. Huh? I recently introduced Fred to my parents as someone I'm considering marrying, and I've also met his family. Recently? You mean last Sunday? Yes, last Sunday. Come to think of it, Hannah, you came to my house uninvited while I was away for about 30 minutes to pick up my paycheck, right? Well... Fred just told me that when he came to my place and saw how surprised you were, he told you, I've come to ask for permission to date Hannah, and then suddenly you started squirming and sat next to him? Well... Fred still can't make sense of what happened, but he's still confused about it. So was this just another case of one of your misunderstandings? Misunderstandings? But Fred said Hannah, even though I'm not related to him, but I'm like a real partner to him and his family. Wouldn't you think he was referring to me, his real partner, not you? But think about this carefully, okay? If Fred were dating you and wanted to introduce himself to his parents, my parents, who would be your in-laws, would have no reason to meet you at all. Well, I thought he was asking for my permission to divorce my husband so he could be with you, but since he couldn't confront him directly, he might have been trying to smooth things over with my parents first. Maybe he was trying to soften the situation and create a less direct approach. So is this the kind of wild imagination you've come up with? Honestly, it doesn't make any sense at all. Then what about this trip? This trip was planned by Fred so we could travel together. It has nothing to do with you. What? No. This is a disaster. I left the divorce papers for Mac. What do I do now if this leads to a divorce? About that, as soon as I realized the misunderstanding during this conversation, I immediately informed Mac. Right now, he's probably on his way to City Hall with the divorce papers. No way! And Mac left me a message. He said, I can't deal with your misunderstandings anymore. I'm leaving today and will pack my things. I'll transfer half of the assets into your account by tomorrow. I won't ask for alimony, but stay away from me from now on. Lisa, pick up. I can't reach Mac's phone. He probably blocked you. What? No, stop it. I'm really sorry, but Fred and I both find your advances unwelcome. Please refrain from contacting us from now on. No, you're telling me to stay away after all I've done for you? What have you done for me, Lisa? Tell me, what exactly have you done? I've always been there for you when you were struggling with Mac, when you were unsure about your decisions. I was the one who offered advice. I always listened, didn't I? You came to me for help when you had doubts. How can you just throw all that away? This isn't about what you did for me. It's about what's right and what's happening now. You've crossed a line, Lisa. You've betrayed my trust and gone behind my back. Betrayed your trust? Are you serious? You were the one who was always indecisive. You couldn't even make a decision on whether or not to stay with Mac. You kept asking me for advice, but now you're acting like you've got everything figured out. This is ridiculous. I figured it out now. I know what I want, and it's not someone who undermines me or tries to manipulate me. Manipulate? What are you talking about? I have never manipulated you. I've always tried to help you. If I didn't care about you, I would have walked away a long time ago. But no, I stayed because I thought you needed someone to lean on. Well, guess what? I don't need you anymore. I may still have Fred. I don't need someone who treats me like a backup plan, someone who makes my life harder just because they don't know what they want. You think Fred is the answer to everything? You think he's the one who's going to fix all your problems? Well, that's never going to happen because as you've seen, he is done with you. I know Fred. He's real. He's been with me through thick and thin. Unlike you, he doesn't cause drama every time something goes wrong. So I'm positive he's not answering my calls because he's really busy with something else. All right, Hannah, say whatever you'd like about Fred and I, but just know that if you continue to try and call and text us, we're going to block you just like Mac. Now, please stop texting me. It's truly impressive how much someone could misunderstand everything like this. Hannah's department had an overwhelmingly male-to-female ratio of 9-to-1, and it seems like this situation led to some of the misunderstandings among the people there. This was based on a conversation with Fred, who worked in the same department as Hannah. Fred mentioned that there was a tendency for certain individuals in the office to become confused about the nature of their relationships and intentions, especially when the environment was so heavily skewed in favor of men. Apparently, there were also frequent comments from Hannah that seemed to hint at her being overly popular among her male colleagues. She often said things along the lines of, "It's so tough, I'm just too popular and the guys are constantly chasing after me." Such remarks were clearly attention-seeking, but it seemed to further fuel the misunderstandings that already existed. People around her might have interpreted these comments in various ways, and before she knew it, a bizarre scenario had formed in her mind, a delusion that there was some sort of inevitable competition going on for her affection. She began to believe that the men in her office were secretly fighting over her, competing for her attention behind the scenes. The situation took an even stranger turn when Fred visited my parents' house. This event seemed to perfectly align with the timing of Hannah's delusions about the so-called battle over her. Fred's visit to my family home must have been the moment when her fantasy became a reality in her mind. She imagined that Fred had somehow emerged victorious in this imaginary contest for her affection, and from that point on, she convinced herself that Fred was the winner of the battle for her love. To make matters more complicated, Hannah had been through a divorce by this point. She had left her job and returned to her family's house in the countryside. The divorce was a difficult experience for her, and she sought solace by retreating back to her rural home, far away from the bustling city. However, her troubles didn't end there. 2 years later, she found herself embroiled in yet another spectacular misunderstanding, this time with the influential figures of her hometown. The misunderstanding escalated to the point where it severely impacted her standing in the local community. Hannah became the subject of widespread gossip, and soon the entire village turned against her. Her family, feeling the pressure from the situation, became estranged from her, and they made the decision to cut ties to her. They effectively excommunicated her, and Hannah had no choice but to leave and relocate somewhere else, further removed from her previous life and connections. It seems that the misunderstanding, which had initially started as a trivial delusion, spiraled out of control and had lasting consequences for Hannah's life. What had started as a casual daydream of being pursued by the men in her office transformed into a full-blown fantasy that affected her personal relationships. Eventually, these delusions created such a rapture in her life that she became alienated from the people who were once close to her. It's fascinating how one small misunderstanding can snowball into such a massive and irreversible situation. If she hadn't spun this web of imaginary love and competition, perhaps her life might have turned out differently. But instead, she found herself caught in a self-made trap with no clear way out. Fred, who was also involved in this strange turn of events, must have found it just as bizarre as anyone else. He had no intentions of being part of any such competition. His visit to my family home was purely innocent, yet it had become a catalyst for Hannah's distorted interpretation of reality. As much as it seems that the situation was beyond his control, Fred couldn't escape the fallout from Hannah's increasingly erratic behavior. His involvement in the story made it even more complicated than it already was. Looking back at the whole situation, it seems like a series of unfortunate coincidences. The office dynamics, the comments about being too popular, Fred's visit to the family home, and Hannah's personal turmoil all collided to create a chaotic sequence of events. One misunderstanding led to another, and before long, it seemed like everyone involved was caught up in a web of confusion and speculation. Hannah's final fall from grace came when she was effectively ostracized by her hometown community. It was a harsh reality for someone who had once been a part of the close-knit village, but the weight of the misunderstandings and the rumors that followed her actions were too much to bear. Her attempt to rebuild her life in a small town turned into a complete disaster, and she ended up moving away in search of a fresh start. In the end, it's a story of how things can easily go awry when people misinterpret actions or words, especially when they're already predisposed to creating fantasies in their minds. Hannah, like so many others before her, found herself trapped by her own illusions, and those around her suffered because of it. Fred, for his part, might never have understood the full extent of the role he played in this bizarre turn of events, but it was clear that his simple visit to my family home had inadvertently become the spark that ignited Hannah's delusions. As for Hannah now, who knows where she is or what she's doing? Her life seems to have taken a sharp detour, and it's unlikely that she'll ever return to the life she once had. The combination of misunderstandings, misplaced beliefs, and emotional struggles left her isolated and alone, a cautionary tale for anyone who finds themselves caught up in their own delusions. Thank you for watching and listening. We hope you enjoyed the video. Don't forget to like this video and subscribe. Also, feel free to leave a comment about what you thought of the story. We look forward to seeing you at the next story.
Thank you for watching. Please subscribe and hit the like button. See you next time.